The third trending topic on Twitter was Grant Shaw's first love, Sienna Frost, returns to the country. Claire Hale's thumb hovered over her phone screen, the edge of her nail glowing cold white. The coffee machine in the break room hummed low. She'd only meant to check the schedule for the merger celebration gala during her lunch break, but she tapped the hashtag instead. Sienna Frost's profile loaded. Her most recent post was from 6 months ago. A handwritten caption read, "I hope I can become your private obsession, the thing you hide with secret joy and flaunt with pride." The photo was slightly out of focus, the river's nightscape smeared into a blur of light. But the clasped hands at the center were painfully sharp, a man's long, elegant fingers, knuckles defined, a simple platinum band on his ring finger. Claire recognized that ring. It was the wedding band she'd bought with Grant Shaw. Always said it got in the way and never wore it except when absolutely necessary. Now that ring sat on his finger, held by another hand painted in nude pink polish. The coffee machine beeped. Claire's hand jerked. The phone slipped from her palm, smacking against the tile floor. She bent to grab it, and her knee cracked against the edge of the stainless steel counter. Jenny from admin walked in with a mug, spotted her crouching, and hurried over. Claire snatched up her phone. The screen had cracked in a spiderweb of fine lines, splitting the clasped hands right down the middle. Jenny leaned closer, her gaze skimming the shattered screen. Claire straightened and laid her phone face down on the counter. Jenny lowered her voice as she filled her mug. The stainless steel surface reflected Claire's pale face. She reached for the sugar, fingertips brushing cold ceramic, and pulled back. Jenny's voice hummed with excitement. Break room doors swung open, and a cluster of project team members poured in, laughing. The conversation veered toward tonight's gala. Someone asked if Claire was going. She nodded, fingers tracing the sugar bowl's rim. Claire tried to smile. It didn't quite take. She lifted her mug of unsweetened coffee and took a sip, the liquid scalding across her tongue. Her phone buzzed against the counter. She glanced at it. A message from Grant, "See you tonight?" Claire stared at the 3 words for a long moment, then shut off the screen. The glass fracture spread across the black background like cracked ice. Someone tapped her shoulder. Claire snapped back to find Lucas Reed standing beside her, a mug in his hand. He wore a light gray shirt with the sleeves rolled to his elbows. Claire accepted the crackers, her fingers brushing his. Lucas's hand was very warm, he said abruptly, his voice dropping low. Claire's grip on the plastic wrapper tightened, producing a faint crinkle. She looked up. After a few seconds, he lifted a knuckle and brushed it gently against the back of her hand wrapped around the coffee mug. Claire pulled back half a step. Coffee sloshed over the rim and splashed onto her skin. She turned and walked out. Claire checked the caller ID. Grant Shaw. She answered. Claire's knuckles blanched around the phone. She heard her own breathing amplified in the receiver. Silence on the other end stretched for 2 seconds. Then Grant said, "I know." "And?" Claire shut her eyes and drew a slow breath. She hung up, stood rooted in place, watching the window until her phone screen timed out and went black, reflecting her bloodless face. The metal doors slid shut, mirroring her blurred silhouette. Claire leaned back against the cold wall and closed her eyes. The doors opened onto a tide of people. Beyond the revolving glass door, the sky had fully darkened. The first raindrops splattered against the marble floor. She stood beneath the awning, watching the rain grow thicker. News alert popped up. Exclusive. Grant Shaw to attend merger celebration gala with mystery companion Old Flame rekindled. A paparazzi shot accompanied it. Grant Shaw and Sienna Frost walking shoulder to shoulder into an upscale restaurant, their bodies almost touching. The rain kept falling. She reached out, caught a few cold drops in her palm, and watched them gather. Then she closed her fist and let the water seep through her fingers. Time to go change. Claire pulled the corners of her mouth into a smile. The reflection in the glass door was pale as a mask. She opened her umbrella and walked into the storm, the drumming of rain against the fabric steady and rhythmic, like some kind of countdown. Grant standing in the shadows of the foyer, he hadn't changed his shoes or turned on a light. "You're back?"
I need to talk to you.
Claire walks silently across the carpet and perches on the very edge of the sofa.
Sienna Frost is back.
I know. I saw the photos on Twitter.
Let's get a divorce.
Why?
No particular reason. Sienna needs me.
I don't understand how you can remember Sienna Frost's dream wedding but forget what you promised me just last year.
A partnership. The deal is done. The partnership is over. It's simple logic, isn't it?
But I love you. Grant, I've loved you for 6 years.
That's your business, Claire. I have never loved you. You were a competent partner. But that's all.
What about my mother's photo? You promised you'd help me find it.
Claire Hale, don't do this. A little dignity. It's better for everyone.
When do we sign? I'll stay at a hotel tonight. I'll come to the office tomorrow at 9 to sign. Grant stood at the window, watching the tiny figure vanish around the corner. The crystal chandelier's light stabbed into Claire's eyes. She stood in the shadows beside the ballroom's side entrance, fingers clamped around the stem of a champagne flute. Condensation slid down the glass and dripped cold onto her skin. Inside, the air swam with perfume, cigar smoke, and the easy arrogance of victory. Beyond the windows, the river glittered with light-streaked cruise ships. The strap kept slipping off her shoulder. She had to tug it back up with discreet mechanical movements. She remembered Grant rubbing his temples in the small hours. Grant stood in a charcoal suit, exchanging pleasantries with board members. Sienna Frost wore a pearl-white strapless gown. She slipped her arm through Grant's. He lifted a hand and tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear. The word fiancé pierced Claire's eardrum like a bullet. Claire's champagne flute slipped from her fingers. The bass struck the marble floor and shattered. The wind on the terrace carried the damp of the river. Claire gripped the metal railing. Grant came to stand beside her, an arm's length away, gazing at the water. Go back inside. Offer Sienna a toast. Say a few congratulatory words. He paused. Do it graciously. She's not feeling well and can't drink, so you'll drink in her place. Half the glass of orange juice sloshed forward and splattered across the front of Claire's gown. She tilted her head back and drained the entire glass in one go. The last thing she sensed was her body pitching forward and someone's arms catching her. The smell of antiseptic wrapped around the hospital room. Claire leaned against the raised bed, an IV line taped to the back of her hand, glucose dripping into her vein beat by beat. Daylight filtered gray through the blackout blinds and settled on her face. The door opened, letting in a slice of hallway noise before it shut again. Lucas Reed walked in carrying a thermal container. He wore a light gray sweater, his features gentle, but the shadows under his eyes betrayed exhaustion. He set the container on the nightstand, fingertips testing the warmth of its sides.
The doctor said your stomach lining is damaged. You'll need to take it easy for a while. My mom made some millet porridge. It's still warm. Want a little?
Claire wanted to shake her head, but a cramp twisted through her stomach. Liquor she'd poured down at the gala left only cold embers burning her esophagus. She didn't speak, just gave a slight nod. Lucas unscrewed the lid, ladled a small bowl of porridge, and pulled up a chair. He placed the bowl and spoon in her unencumbered hand.
Careful, it's hot.
The distance he kept was precise and careful. Claire took the spoon. Her fingertips brushed the warm ceramic, and that small point of heat made her icy skin tremble. The porridge slid down, quieting the cramps. She ate slowly, the only sound, the occasional tap of spoon against bowl.
Has he been here?
Claire's swallow hitched. Who? Lucas lifted his eyes to hers and didn't say anything. The usual laughter in them was absent now. He came, said some meaningless things, left.
What kind of meaningless things?
Claire's mouth twisted. Nothing special, just that I shouldn't embarrass him in public, should remember my place, that a former wife of the Apex chairman shouldn't act like a bitter woman at a celebration gala. He left out the sharper warnings, and the way his voice softened whenever he mentioned Sienna. Lucas's hand, resting on his knee, slowly curled into a fist. Beneath the soft knit of his sweater, his knuckles stood out. He drew a breath and released it.
Did he ask why you drank that much?
Does it matter? To him, the reason is never important, only the result. And the result was that I embarrassed him and his fiancée.
Embarrassed?
A laugh escaped him, entirely void of warmth.
Claire, do I need to remind you? Legally, and in the eyes of at least half the guests in that room, you are his lawful wife. What exactly is Sienna Frost? Some woman who uses old history, and who knows what kind of nerve, to waltz in and flaunt herself in front of the real.
The door swung open again. Grant stood in the doorway, holding a file. He'd clearly caught the tail end of Lucas's sentence. His expression darkened. He wasn't wearing a jacket, just a crisp white shirt with the top button undone, but the oppressive pressure radiating from him hadn't lessened. His gaze landed first on the bowl of porridge, and Claire's hands paused there, then shifted to Lucas.
Director Reed, it's working hours. Shouldn't you be with the project team handling the post-merger follow-up? Is the salary Apex pays you so generous that you have time to loiter here?
Lucas didn't rise. He adjusted his posture, leaning back more comfortably. He met Grant's stare, the sardonic tilt still at the corner of his mouth.
Mr. Shaw, it's lunch hour. And visiting a colleague who was hospitalized due to work-related circumstances, that's hardly dereliction of duty.
He put deliberate weight on the word colleague. Grant walked in and shut the door behind him. The click of the latch echoed in the quiet room. He moved to the foot of the bed, forming a confrontation with Lucas across Claire. The space wasn't large. With two tall men standing in it, the room felt cramped.
Colleague?
His gaze flicked to Claire's pale face, then back to Lucas.
Lucas, I thought we at least still had the understanding of old college roommates. In what capacity are you here? A concerned project director checking on a subordinate? Or a man?
A man, 'cause I need to talk to you. Lucas, I thought we at least still had the understanding of old college roommates. In what capacity are you here? A concerned project director checking on a subordinate? Or a man? 'Cause I need to talk to you.
Showing concern for a married woman?
The phrase married woman stabbed into Claire's ears. Her fingers tightened around the spoon until her knuckles went white. The smile on Lucas's face vanished. He slowly rose to his feet. He was nearly Grant's height.
Grant Shaw, you have the nerve to say, married woman? At that gala, in front of everyone, when you let another woman parade around as your fiancée and humiliate your lawfully wedded wife with pointed toasts and insults, did you spare a single thought for whose woman she was?
Grant's jaw tightened.
That's between her and me.
Between you? Lucas took half a step forward, closing the distance to a breath's edge.
Between you means you get to trample her dignity, abandon her to public scorn, and then, after she drinks herself into a gastric hemorrhage, come here and demand to know why she embarrassed you?
Lucas Reed, watch your words. This is my marriage with Claire. It's not your place as an outsider to lecture me. She is still an Apex employee, my former secretary. And you are my subordinate. Know your place.
Place? Mr. Shaw, are you warning me as my boss right now? Or are you, as a guilty husband, trying to intimidate anyone who might rip off your mask of decency? Need I remind you that this married woman you speak of just barely survived an abduction, and during that phone call...
Enough! Both men turned to her. She set down the porridge bowl. The ceramic spoon clinked against the rim with a sharp ding. She lifted her free hand and pressed her fingers to her temple. If you want to fight, take it outside. Her voice was hoarse, but her gaze was eerily calm as it moved from Grant to Lucas. This is a hospital room, not a arena for you two to battle for speaking rights. Grant's brows knitted. He looked at her, saw the distant coldness on her face, and swallowed his anger. He slapped the file he was holding onto the nightstand, the motion rough.
The doctor says you can be discharged tomorrow. This is a supplementary clause to the divorce agreement regarding the property division. Look it over and sign if there are no issues.
Lucas looked up at her, eyes gleaming bright behind his glasses. He extended his hand, palm up. Claire hesitated for a heartbeat, then laid her fingers across it. Lucas's grip tightened, gentle but certain. The curtain of the adjacent dressing room was yanked back, and Sienna Frost stepped out in a mermaid gown. Grant's gaze locked onto Claire. The overhead light poured down, tracing a halo around the simple, elegant wedding dress she wore. Sienna's nails dug into Grant's arm. She unfurled an even sweeter smile. Grant didn't answer. His eyes were still fixed on Claire's face, searching for some trace of the woman she'd been. Lucas held onto her hand. Sienna pressed a kiss to Grant's cheek, her eyes flicking toward Claire with a provocateur's glint. Lucas maneuvered his wheelchair, placing himself squarely between Claire and the other couple. A few days later, Claire returned to Apex Group to finalize her resignation and clear out her office. When she reached toward the bottom, feeling for the heavy industry yearbook she kept there, her fingers met empty space. She froze. Sienna was touching up her lipstick in a compact mirror. Claire took a step forward, her voice dropping into ice. The door to the CEO's office opened. Grant emerged, frowning toward the commotion. She circled around to the building's waste collection area. She kicked off her heels and walked barefoot onto the rough, filthy ground, digging with her bare hands. The tears came then, flooding down, cutting tracks through the grime on her face. Lucas Reed stood there, backlit by the slanting amber sun. Lucas opened his own and pulled her into a fierce, crushing embrace. Grant Shaw sat in the driver's seat, his fingers clamped around the steering wheel, knuckles bone white. The setting sun stretched their shadows long and close. $8.4 million. She killed the screen and shoved the phone into her bag. Through the glass wall, she watched him grip the parallel bars and drag his right leg forward. Grant stepped out.
You got the money? That wedding dress?
I'll wear it. For the photo shoot with Lucas. If there's nothing else, you can go. Grant stood with his back to her at the floor-to-ceiling window, a glass of water in his hand.
Give me another chance. Just one. I'll deal with Sienna, then be disgusted. It's better than forgetting.
Are you gonna force me? Are you going to do to me what Sienna tried to do to Lucas? Claire continued, force me, and then when I'm pregnant, tell me the child isn't mine because I'm somehow loose and shameless? We've been finished since the day you asked for the divorce. Everything you're doing now, investigating, regretting, apologizing, none of it changes the facts. And the fact is, you chose Sienna, you hurt me, you pushed me toward Lucas. The screen was lit. The caller ID read Lucas Reed. Sienna pushed open the door to Claire's office just as a storm broke outside. Rain slanted hard against the windows, warping the city skyline. Sienna hadn't knocked. She wore a cream cashmere suit, her makeup flawless, a wash of gray fatigue barely visible beneath her eyes. She turned the lock behind her. The metal catch clicked loud in the quiet. Claire was sorting files at her desk. At the sound of the lock, her fingers paused on the keyboard for a single beat, then kept typing. Claire's voice was steady. Sienna walked to the desk and sat down. She pulled an ultrasound photo from her purse and slid it across the polished wood. A tiny shadow curled in the image, annotated 7W plus 3D. Sienna said. Claire's gaze moved from her computer screen to the photo. Her eyes rested on the shadow for 3 seconds, then lifted to Sienna's face. She didn't touch the picture. Her hands stayed flat on the desk, fingers slightly curled. Claire said. Sienna smiled. It was shallow, only her mouth moved. The temperature in her eyes dropped further. She produced a few printed color images, grainy surveillance stills. The first showed Lucas bracing a hand against a hotel room door, his silhouette swaying. The second showed Sienna behind him, a key card in her hand. The third showed the door closing. Sienna said, tapping the date stamp. Claire's breathing rhythm didn't change. The line of her shoulders tightened a millimeter. She looked at the photos like they were someone else's story. Sienna went on, her voice dropping low. Claire asked, her voice softer than before. Sienna said it plainly. She pulled a small white pill bottle from her purse and set it next to the ultrasound. The label had been peeled off. Sienna said, shaking the bottle. The pills rattled. Claire's fingers curled into her palms on the desk. She felt a thin sweat prickling there. She shifted her gaze from the pill bottle to Sienna. Sienna's eyes were beautiful, classic almond shape, slightly upturned at the corners. But there was no light in them now. Just a flat, dark void. Sienna leaned forward, elbows on the desk. So? Sienna enunciated each word. The air in the office seemed to solidify. The rain, the AC hum, the distant chime of an elevator, all of it receded, leaving only Sienna's shallow breaths and Claire's accelerating heartbeat. Sienna's mouth curved. Claire shut her eyes, then opened them. The office light was painfully bright, the fluorescent tubes in perfect rows on the ceiling. She said. Sienna's voice turned soft. Sienna stood and walked around the desk, stopping beside Claire. She bent low, her lips near Claire's ear. The exhale carried the scent of gardenia. Sienna whispered. Sienna straightened, looking down at Claire's bloodless face. She paused, savoring every micro-expression. She shook her head, a look of pity settling on her face. Claire's breathing turned ragged. A dull, crushing ache spread through her chest. Sienna spoke the words without a flicker of emotion. She walked back to her seat, sat, and pulled out a document. A photocopy of a share transfer agreement. Grant's signature sat at the bottom, transferring 5% of Apex Group to Sienna Frost. Sienna's body started to tremble slightly. She bit her lower lip, tears gathered quickly on her lashes. Her voice broke into a sob. She reached out as if to grab Claire's hand, but Claire pulled her sharply back under the desk. Claire cut in. Her voice had steadied, but it was the stillness of ice just before it fractures. Sienna blinked, then shook her head. She wiped her tears, smearing her eyeliner into dark smudges. Claire stood up slowly. Her legs were weak. She had to brace herself against the desk. She walked to the window and looked out at the rain-lashed city. Cars crawled like toys. Pedestrians scurried under umbrellas. She asked without turning. The chair scraped behind her. Sienna stood too, her heels muffled on the carpet. Sienna's voice had hardened again. Claire turned around. Her face was as pale as paper, but her eyes held a strange, steady light. Claire's voice was quiet, deliberate. She walked back to her desk, picked up the ultrasound photo, studied it for a moment, then placed it back in front of Sienna. Claire's gaze was steady as iron. A knock sounded at the door, 3 raps, polite and restrained. Claire and Sienna both looked toward it. Sienna scrambled to shove the photos and pill bottle into her bag, dabbed at her eyes with a tissue, and sucked in a breath, trying to recompose her face. Claire walked over and opened the door. Lucas stood there, his expression carrying its usual gentle smile. Sienna forced a brittle smile, nodded, grabbed her purse, and fled past them. She didn't look at Claire. She didn't look at Lucas. She vanished down the corridor like something escaping. Lucas stepped inside and shut the door. The smile dropped from his face, replaced by sharp concern. His hand lifted as if to touch her cheek, but stopped halfway. Claire shook her head. She walked back to her chair, sank into it, and dropped her forehead into her hands. The composure she'd forced herself to hold shattered all at once. She felt utterly drained. Her voice came out small, threaded with a plea. Lucas stilled for a second, then moved to her without hesitation, wrapping her in his arms. His chest was warm, smelling faintly of cedar. Claire pressed her face into his shirt and closed her eyes, letting the tears fall silently into the fabric. The rain kept pounding outside, a deluge fierce enough to wash every secret and stain from the city. But Claire knew some things couldn't be washed away. The madness in Sienna's eyes, Grant's betrayals, the part of herself that was slowly, quietly dying, and that 7-week-old, unborn child ticking like a bomb buried beneath all of them. Claire ended the call with the bridal shop. Her fingertip hovered over the $7.7 million transfer on her screen for a moment, then she shut it off. The antiseptic smell of the hospital clung stubbornly to her nostrils. The click of high heels sounded behind her, the rhythm deliberately slow. Claire didn't turn. She kept scrolling. A rehab video Lucas had sent half an hour ago started playing. He was gripping the parallel bars, sweat pouring down his face, knuckles white from effort.
Claire.
Sienna stood a few feet away near the window, clutching a medical file with a red stamp reading obstetrics and gynecology.
I came to apologize. Yesterday, when I saw how beautiful that wedding dress looked on you, I just loved it so much. I had my husband buy it for me. You don't mind, do you?
No. If it makes you happy. She let the file slip from her fingers. It hit the floor with a smack, scattering papers, including an ultrasound printout.
Tell me, does Lucas know that his leg will never work again? Does Lucas know he's a cripple, and does he know that another woman is carrying his child while he dares to marry someone else?
Sienna Frost. Aren't you afraid of consequences?
What consequences? This bastard inside me won't live long enough to be born. I'm never having children in this lifetime.
Claire's breath locked in her chest as she watched Sienna turn and leave. She lifted her gaze and it collided with a door at the far end of the corridor, left slightly ajar. Lucas sat there, half in shadow, his hand resting on the armrest, the knuckles strained, bone white. Claire processed the recording, keeping only the segments where Sienna admitted to her crimes, and sent it to Grant. Grant's post, 30, pathetic really, it hit her, then today was his 30th birthday. She reached out and wiped the condensation from the mirror, revealing a pale, hollow-eyed version of herself.
Grant called off the wedding. He made me terminate the pregnancy. Are you happy?
She sprinted to the elevator, her heart slamming against her ribs. The living room looked like a hurricane had ripped through it, glass shards glinting everywhere.
Are you a man? You deserve to be a cripple for life. Disabled waste.
Sienna Frost, enough. I'm his fiancé. So yes, it's my business.
Grant's on his own now. The board is crushing him. But he still made sure you were completely clean. He chose me instead of you.
Miss Frost, are you finished? We have no baby. I was drunk that night, but not drunk enough to not know what I did and didn't do. You drugged my drink. You took those photos, but I never touched you. My blood work showed a heavy sedative.
2 police officers appeared at the door, flashlight beams cutting through the wrecked living room. The late spring wind cut through Westridge Cemetery, cold and damp, threading between pines and cypresses and lifting the hem of Claire's beige trench coat. She crouched before her mother's grave, her fingertips brushing the icy stone. The photo had been replaced last spring. Claire laid down a bundle of white chrysanthemums. Mom, I'm here again. Claire didn't rise. She pressed her forehead to the rough stone edge of the headstone. The leather briefcase at her feet was something Grant had shoved into her hands late that afternoon. Now she pulled the zipper open. The metallic rasp cut the silence. The last light of dusk was fading. The glass caught the residual glow, reflecting her own blurred image and the face of her mother inside. She hugged the frame to her chest, pressing her cheek to the cold glass until her body heat warmed it. Grant stopped 2 steps away and looked at her back. Grant's throat worked. He watched her shoulders tremble.
Claire?
The woman at the grave stiffened. She didn't respond immediately, just clutched the frame tighter.
Can I hold you?
Then she stood. Her knees had gone numb from crouching too long, and she stumbled as she rose. She didn't speak. She just slipped her arms around his waist. Grant buried his face in the curve of her neck. Tears spilled anyway, darkening the beige fabric of Claire's coat.
Let's go. It's dark. It's not safe here.
A black van screamed around the corner, tires shrieking. Its headlights were blinding.
What the hell?
The glass frame hit the gravel and shattered with a brittle, splintering sound. Her mother's smile was split by a web of cracks. Grant knelt on the gravel, hands braced against the ground, knuckles white. He stared at the spot where the van had vanished.